Hello everyone, welcome to Pragya Biology classes. This is Dr. Sal Pragya and today we will talk about the rest phylum of kingdom Animalia. In the last class we have discussed up to kingdom Platyhelminths. Today we will start our discussion with phylum Nematoda. The word nematoda is also known as Aschelminthus and it is derived from the Greek word nema means thread and helmin means worm. So thread-like worms or round worms are discussed in nematoda. These are either parasitic in plants and animals or free-living aquatic freshwater or seawater or terrestrial. Most are free living. तो ये कैसे टाइप्स के होते हैं? ये मोस्टली पैरासाइटिक होते हैं. ये प्लांट्स में भी पाए जा सकते हैं एंड एनिमल्स में भी पाए जा सकते हैं. कुछ टाइप्स इसके फ्री लिविंग्स होते हैं और ये एक्वेटिक होंगे. फ्रेश वाटर और सी वाटर किसी में भी पाए जा सकते हैं. ये टेरेस्ट्रियल भी होते हैं एंड मोस्ट आर फ्री लिविंग. दे आर नैरो, elongated and cylindrical bodies. Bodies are unsegmented. इनके जो बॉडी होंगे वो unsegmented होंगे and these are triploblastic animals. Bilateral symmetry is present. Body cavity is not a true coelom. It is called pseudocoel or pseudocoelom. The roundworms are therefore called pseudocoelomates. A complete alimentary canal with mouth and anus is present and the example of this phylum is Ascaris, that is also known as roundworm, Enterobius, pinworm and Wuchereria bancrofti filarial worms. Next, we will discuss the characteristic feature of phylum Annelida. The term Annelida is derived from the Greek word annulus means ring and eidos means form. That means we will discuss the segmented worms. They occur in fresh water, seawater or moist soil. Some are free living, some are burrowing and few are parasites. Their body is composed of rings or segments, hence the name of the phylum is given. The segmentation of the body is called metameric and that is the body is divided into a series of units called the metameres. A true body cavity is present. Annelids are the first animal with true body cavity or coelom. They are triploblastic animals. Bodies are bilaterally symmetrical, well-developed digestive systems with alimentary canal open at both ends with mouth and anus. Blood vascular system consists of closed vessels. Blood is red due to the presence of the pigment hemoglobin. Examples of this phylum is Naris, that is also known as sandworm, Aphrodite, that is sea mouse, Ferretima, earthworm, and Hirudinaria, that is cattle leech. Earthworm is one of the important member of this phylum. Therefore, we will study the characteristic features of the structure of earthworm and we will also study the economic importance of earthworm, why it is useful in agriculture. These all we will study about earthworm. So, first of all, we will study about the structure of earthworm. The common Indian earthworm Ferretima posthema has a long cylindrical body which is divided into a series of 80 to 100 ring-like segments. There is no head and there are no appendages, no eyes and no tail. The mouth is a simple opening at the front end. There are no jaws. The anus is located at the extreme hind end. It is a mature worm, a short cylindrical band of thick glandular skin that is also known as clitellum surrounds the body like a belt in the segment of 14 to 16, which is about one-third distance of the body from the front end. This clitellum serves in reproduction. The lighter colored ventral side bears a few important openings and structures close to the clitellum. These are concerned with reproduction. Now, economic importance of earthworm. Earthworm is highly useful in agriculture. It loosens up the soil and aerates the soil as it burrows. So soil aeration is done by the earthworm because it makes burrow inside the soil and it penetrates deeper. The earthworm keep interchanging the top soil with the lower layer, thus increasing the fertility of the soil. The earthworm's excreta is rich in nitrogenous matter which is required for plants' growth. Presently, earthworms are being used in vermiculture for producing high quality manure. Many people use earthworm as baits in catching fish. Now we will discuss the phylum Arthropoda. The characteristic feature of Arthropoda is jointed legs present in the animals. Examples are crayfish, crabs, millipedes, centipedes, insects, scorpions, spider, and many other examples. The phylum has the largest number of species in the animal kingdom. These animals have jointed limbs, one pair each on some or on all body segments. There is an exoskeleton made up of chitin. They cast off their exoskeleton during growth in early life, which is regrown. The casting off and the regrowing of the exoskeleton is collectively called molting. Arthropods are found everywhere on earth. That means these are present on land, in soil, in water, and as parasite on plants and other animals. The animals have jointed legs. 6 or more legs are present and each has the several joints. The body is bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic. The body is segmented into 3 regions: head, thorax and abdomen. Head and thorax together constitute cephalothorax. The body is covered by a hard exoskeleton made up of chitin or chitinous exoskeleton. About molting, I have explained earlier. The term metamorphosis, meta means between, morph means form. So it refers to changes which occur during transition from egg to adult form. So metamorphosis is also shown by this group of animals. Now phylum Arthropoda is divided into 4 classes. These are Crustacea, Myriapoda, Insecta and Arachnida. Crustacea example are crabs, lobsters, shrimps. Myriapoda examples are centipedes and millipedes. Insecta examples are houseflies, grasshopper, butterfly, mosquitoes, cockroach. Arachnida examples are spiders, scorpions, mites and ticks. But these are not in your syllabus, so I am not going to explain the 4 classes of Arthropoda. Next, we will discuss phylum Mollusca. The term mollusca is derived from the Latin word molluscus. Molluscus means soft. So, in this group, we find soft-bodied animals. The mollusks are very diverse and successful group of animals. They are the second largest group of animals in total number of species. As I discussed, Arthropoda is the first largest group of animals having the total number of species being represented by more than 7 lakh species in Arthropoda group and nearly 80% of the animal kingdom, whereas Mollusca is the second largest group of animal in total number of species. Now, I think most of you have been seeing the cauries or sunk and other seashells of fascinating designs and colors. Actually, all of these once contained soft-bodied animals that are grouped under the phylum Mollusca. Now we will study about the characteristic features of phylum Mollusca. They are mostly aquatic, living in seawater. Some, however, occur in freshwater. They have soft and unsegmented body. They are triploblastic and coelomate animals. Bilateral symmetry is present. The soft body is usually supported by a hard shell of calcium carbonate. The cell constitutes the exoskeleton. The body is divided into an anterior head, a ventral muscular foot, and a dorsal visceral mass or hump. Over the hump is formed a fold of tissue called mantle or pallium. Mantle secretes the cell. Now examples are pila, sepia, loligo, octopus. These are the examples of mollusca. The next phylum that we have to discuss is Echinodermata. This term is derived from the Greek word echinus means a spine and derma means covering skin. The spiny skinned animals are included in this group. The characteristic features of Echinodermata are that these are exclusively marine animals that generally live at sea bottom and are slowly moving. Some are free swimming in water and a few are sessile, being attached to the substratum. The body has a rough outer covering of spines or projections and hence the name of the phylum is given. In shape, the animals are star-shaped, spherical or elongated. Body is triploblastic, coelomic and without segmentation. Symmetry of radial in adults but bilateral in larvae. They move by means of 2 feet. Examples are starfish, brittle star, sea urchin, sea cucumber and feather stars. Next we will discuss about phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata, the word chordata is derived from the Greek word chordi, means cord or string. The group Chordata represents the most advanced group of animals. Chordates share many features and among these features, the 4 features are very important at least during the early stages of their development. The characteristic features are presence of tubular dorsal hollow nerve cord, presence of solid rod-like structure called the notochord at some age of life, presence of series of paired narrow openings called the gill slits. The gill slits disappear completely later on in most chordates. Presence of post-anal tail. Tail behind the anal opening is present. The tail is reduced or absent in many adult chordates. Classification of chordata we have to study because this is the important group, and this phylum is very important because we are also coming under this group of animals. Chordata is divided into Protochordata and Vertebrata. Protochordata means invertebrate chordates or lower chordates or acraniata. The vertebrates include all the vertebrate chordates or craniata. Vertebrata represent the most advanced group of chordates. Now we will discuss Protochordata. The term Protochordata is derived from the Greek word protos, means first, chordata means notochord. So they are exclusively marine, triploblastic and coelomate. Bilateral symmetry is present. A rod-like structure called notochord is present at some stage of life, whereas in vertebrata, majority of chordates belongs to this group. The characteristic feature of vertebrates are advanced animals having a cranium around the brain, and that's why vertebrata is also known as craniata. Notochord is replaced by a vertebral column or backbone in the adults. Endoskeleton is highly developed. There are two pairs of limbs or appendices. Vertebrata is further divided into 5 classes. These are pisces, amphibia, reptilia, apes and mammals. Now one by one I'll discuss the characteristic feature of all these 5 classes. Next we will talk about class pisces. This class include all fishes. These are exclusively adapted to aquatic life. The body is covered with scales, body is streamlined, fins are present but limbs are absent, muscular tail is present which is used for movement, respiration is through gills, heart is two-chambered. These are cold-blooded animals, means the body temperature fluctuates with the temperature of the environment. They lay eggs. Class pisces is further divided into 3 subclasses. These are Cyclostomata, Convecthes and Osteichthyes. Cyclostomata is the jawless fish, example Petromyzon, lamprey and hagfish. Convecthes means cartilaginous fish, example sharks and rays. Osteichthyes means bony fishes, example carp, seahorse, flying fish, eel. Next we will discuss about class amphibia. The word amphibia is taken from the Greek word amphi means both, bios means life. The vertebrates living 2 lives or dual lives. The amphibian are the first land vertebrates but amphibious, partly terrestrial and partly aquatic. They are amphibious in nature, found in fresh water and moist places. Skin is smooth or rough, rich in glands which keep it moist. Skin with pigment cells, that is chromatophores. Body is without scales. Endoskeleton mostly bony. Notochord does not persist in adults. Head and trunk distinct. Neck and tail may or may not be present. Limbs tetrapodous, 4-limbed. Pentadactyl type means 5-fingered. Heart 3-chambered with 2 auricle and a ventricle. Red blood corpuscles are large, biconvex, oval and nucleated. They are cold-blooded. Amphibians have evolved from fish-like ancestors on one hand and are ancestors of reptile that have given rise to the birds and mammals. Its examples are salamanders, newts, frogs, and toads. Now, next we will talk about class Reptilia. The term reptilia is derived from the Latin word that is reptare. Reptare means to creep or creeping vertebrates. So, in this class, we will study about all the creeping vertebrates. These are first truly terrestrial animals living in warmer regions. We can characterize these organisms by its body that is divisible into head, neck and trunk. Tail is well developed in some while it is reduced in others. Two pairs of pentadactyl limbs are present, but in snakes limbs are reduced or absent. Body is covered with epidermal horny scales. Skin is dry, impermeable and devoid of glands. Heart is three-chambered. In crocodile, it is four-chambered. Examples: tortoise, turtles, lizards, snakes, crocodiles. Largest snake is python, whereas largest lizard is Komodo dragon. Now we will talk about class Aves. The term aves is derived from the Latin word avis, means bird. The birds are described as feathered reptiles that have developed the power of flight. The body is covered with soft feathers, that means feathery exoskeleton. The body is divisible into head, neck, trunk and tail. There are two pairs of limbs. The forelimbs are modified to form wings in flying birds or are reduced as in non-flying birds. Hind limbs are strongly developed for perching and walking. Endoskeleton is light. The bones have got air cavities. This makes the bird light. Jaws are modified to form a strong beak. Teeth are absent. Respiration is by lungs only. Lungs have additional bag-like membranous extensions called air sacs. Heart is completely four-chambered. Birds are oviparous, that means egg-laying animals. Examples are ostrich, then pigeon, peacock, crow, passer, etc. Next, we will discuss about the last class of this kingdom Animalia, that is class Mammalia. Mammalia word is derived from the Latin word mamma, means breast. So in this class we will discuss about breast-bearing animals. Mammals are most evolved group of organisms and are found in diverse habitat ranging from desert, polar ice caps, oceans, mountains, forests and grasslands. They are named mammals as all of them possess mammary gland, means milk producing glands. Mammals are the only animals which feed their young ones with milk. Skin is covered with exoskeleton of hair. Hairs are provided with sweat gland which help in the regulation of body temperature. In aquatic mammals, hair being negligible, the subcutaneous layer of fat provides insulation. Mammals have two pairs of pentadactyl limbs. The body cavity is unequally divided into two parts by a muscular partition called diaphragm. Eyes are provided with movable lids. Ears have fleshy external ear or pinny. Teeth are embedded in sockets. Two sets of teeth develop in the lifetime of a mammal, that is milk teeth and permanent teeth. So, mammals are also known as diphyodont. Teeth are of different types. So, these are known as heterodont. Respiration occurs by lungs. Heart is four-chambered. RBCs are non-nucleated and usually circular. Sexes are separate. Gonads are paired. Testes lie commonly in the scrotal sacs outside the abdomen. Fertilization is internal. Eggs are small, microscopic, without cells, and are retained in uterus of female for development. They give birth to living young ones and are called viviparous. The young ones are fed on milk from mammary glands. Now, important groups of mammals are egg-laying mammals that are also known as monotremes. Examples: spiny anteater, echidna, duckbill platypus. Then marsupial mammals are the pouched mammals. Examples are kangaroo, koala bear, and the third group is placental mammals that are true mammals. Examples: mole, bat, squirrel, cat, dog, lion, tiger, camel, giraffe, horse और भी जितने सारे एनिमल्स हम लोग अपने चारों तरफ देखते हैं वो है true mammals. So in this way we have completed this chapter. I hope you would have understood the topic. If you have any doubt, you can ask by writing in the comment section. Thank you for watching the